Alright guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness and welcome to my review for Evil Dead 2. This one came out in 1987. It is starring Bruce Campbell and Sarah Berry and was directed by Sam Raimi. So, much like the original Evil Dead, I was really looking forward to seeing this one again. I hadn't seen this one in fucking years. I'd say probably early college. May have been the last time I checked this one out. It may have been even longer than that. It may have been high school. I can't really tell you, but you know, anytime I talk about this franchise with people, I always say I'm more of an Evil Dead 2 guy. That has always been my stance. Mostly because we get the iconic Ash Williams that we know and love with the chainsaw hand and just that zany, smart-ass attitude that really spawns here in this one. You see little glimmers of it in the original, but here it's like full-on Ash Williams, and it's really cool to see. And I still love that aspect of the movie. But yeah, I was looking forward to seeing that, and I remember this film really balancing comedy and horror very well. I do not have that stance anymore. This might be a very unpopular review. I could see some people getting mad at me about this, which it's the internet. That's going to happen no matter what. I feel like this movie leans way too hard in the comedic end of things. I'm not saying you can't have comedic aspects in an Evil Dead film. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I just feel like it comes off too wacky sometimes to me, man. And I hate saying that because there are also some genuinely terrifying moments in this movie. Number one, first and foremost, Ash having a complete mental breakdown. I mean, he's seeing things, and he's seeing his girlfriend, who in this is named Linda. You know, he's looking outside his window, and he's seeing the headless corpse of his girlfriend doing ballet dances with a spinning head, which I thought was fucking wicked, wacky, but it was awesome. You know, it's just so fucking terrifying just to see this body fucking spinning around with his head is stationary in this very elegant looking stop motion ballet dance. And then he sees all of that, and then it's just right back into, you know, he's strapped to a chair. He's like, did that even happen? And like, there's a lot of moments like that in the movie where he's fucking losing it, you know. The retcon at the beginning of the film is what it is. We'll get to that when we get to it. But, you know, the idea is he's seen his friends get possessed and killed and chopped up and melt, and just he's been possessed himself by this point. So it's like he's just going through this fucking insane emotional traumatic roller coaster. And it's like that idea and on its own is really cool. I just think it gets bogged down way too much by just senseless comedy stuff, and it does not need to be there. Like I said before, you can have comedic aspects. I think the little wink and nod when he severs his possessed hand and he traps it in a bucket and puts some books on top of it to weigh it down. The book on top is A Farewell to Arms, which I think is fucking funny. Like, it's okay to sprinkle little comedic relief here and there. That's fine. But it's like, there are just parts where I feel like it gets way too fucking kooky. You know, the scene with him laughing with all of the different, with the taxidermied fucking deer head and just all the other things around the cabin that are laughing at him, and he's laughing with them, and it's like, and then he starts like dancing with the fucking lamp and shit. I'm like, what are we doing, man? You know, it's just, there are parts where it just leans way too heavily into the comedic side of things. But hey, that's just my own take. That's my own opinion. I could have done without a lot of comedic aspects in this. But it is a big complaint I have with the movie. Another complaint that I have would be the whole retconning of the original Evil Dead film. Now, I understand I understand the constraints. You know, they didn't have rights to the original Evil Dead film, so they can't really show footage from that. I get it. At the same time, though, what is stopping you from, you know, having your opening credits and then cutting right to when Ash gets possessed at the end of the original? It's not like you're referencing anything from the original. You're not, but it's just, it is what it is. To me, I don't understand why we need to have a very, very brief, very poorly paced intro, just basically bite-sizing the original Evil Dead film. To me, I just think it was the wrong move. I'll be honest. I think it was the wrong move. I get it. You don't have rights to it, but there are ways around that don't involve doing this. Again, I might get under some fire for that. It's just how I feel. Moving on. Believe it or not, there are things about this movie that I really fucking enjoy. Big one would be Ash and his ongoing conflict throughout the film with his fucking hand, with his own right hand. He gets bitten by Linda's severed head, and so you see those veins start spreading throughout his hand and shit. Albeit, I think the rules of possession are already a little muddied because in the original, people are getting possessed left and right off of simple things like a pencil stab and stuff like that. In here, somehow, I don't know how, especially since Ash has already been possessed, but he's just able to resist it. Who knows? But anyways, you know, the idea of that is so fucking terrifying. It's like, okay, if, say there's just a normal standard Deadite, that's already fucking terrifying and you have the odds stacked against you quite a bit, but at least you can run. At the end of the day, at least you can fucking run. I don't know how far because of the woods and all that shit, but you get me. How the fuck do you run from your own body? And how the fuck when this thing is trying to kill him and it's so fucking strong, like it knocks him out at one point and it's just crawling while it's still attached to Ash. It's just dragging him towards this meat cleaver so he can fucking finish the job. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. And it, you know, it's a great scene, obviously. He has to resort to, first of all, he stabs, I think it's a screwdriver or a pencil. It's something, it has to be something that fucking nails it to the ground. So it's probably a screwdriver or a knife or something like that. Can't quite remember. But he fucking pins his own hand to the ground, and you can tell, even though it's possessed, he still feels it, because ding dong, it's his hand. But he fucking stigmatizes his hand to the fucking ground. And he takes this chainsaw, he's like, who's laughing now? And he fucking just rips right through his hand. Blood splattering all over his fucking face. Just brutal stuff. And the idea of that happening to you is fucking terrifying. It's like you literally there's no other way. You have to cut your fucking hand off if you want to survive. Because this thing is not going to stop. And even after he cuts his fucking hand off, the thing still won't fucking stop. And it plays like a pivotal role in the movie later on. Just fucking wild. Also, while speaking about the Deadite hand, the Deadites in this movie in general, I think, are really fucking cool. Some great character designs. You can tell there's a little more of a budget here with this one. And it shows, especially in the makeup and the practicals. Because good God, man, these guys are fucking terrifying. Especially the Henrietta Deadite. That's the one that gets locked in the cellar this time around. And just how, first of all, you know, the reveal of the Henrietta Deadite, I think, is fucking terrifying. They're listening to that tape, and as soon as he says, like, I buried her in the basement, I buried her in the cellar, and Ash obviously gets knocked into the cellar, and then boom, she fucking pops up. Terrifying as shit. She's easily my favorite Deadite of the entire film, besides the hand. I just really, really like just the look and how her neck extends, and I'll swallow your soul, I'll swallow your soul. Like, it's just awesome shit. The one guy in the button-up shirt, the white shirt fucking guy, I don't know his name. That was another cool one. I thought he looked fucking wicked for the brief time we got him. And yeah, man, overall, I think the Deadites, the traditional Deadites in this film, across the board are pretty fucking cool. I think the Woods play a pretty good part in this movie as well, which is also a pretty big deal for the Evil Dead movies. But like I said, as far as like, I don't know if you can consider them Deadites, but the idea of just all this different shit around the cabin, like just acting like cartoons, it's like, yeah, it doesn't work for me too much. Especially, you know, these things are supposed to be the evil of all fucking evil. Like, these guys are directly from fucking hell. There are no redeemable qualities. They want nothing more than to torture you until your limit, and then they'll kill you. Like, they're fucking just abysmally evil, and to have them acting like cartoon characters in this, wasn't a big fan, I'll be honest. But overall, I think the Deadite shit is good. And I actually totally forgot, probably the best scare in the movie is when Ash is getting ready to grab the chainsaw to saw Linda's head in half, and he can't find it. He goes, "Where's the chainsaw?" And then boom, the rest of Linda's corpse just busts through the shed door with this fucking chainsaw. We get a pretty good exchange there. And yeah, this movie has plenty of scary shit going for it, 100%. I think it was really, the horror aspects, excuse me, are really well done. Just too much comedy, man. But moving on, I know I keep saying that, but it's just, it's a very, very, it's kind of hard to ignore, I'll be honest. But moving on. We do get side characters in this film and a side plot. And I think, overall, it's a good continuation of the Evil Dead story. You know, if you watch this with the original in mind, and, you know, Ash has gone through all this crazy shit and he listens to the tape that spawns the, Scotty listens to the tape that then spawns the Evil Dead shit in the original movie. But, you know, the idea that family members of the man who recorded that tape are coming back to the cabin because they have, you know, lost pages from it, and I'm guessing they're just wanting to continue his work or what have you. But I think it's cool. I think it's a good excuse to get some side characters in here to, you know, become Deadites and shit. And we get the Henrietta Deadite out of it, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, they're fine. We also get the two locals. It's Bobby Joe, and I can't remember the guy's name. For the life of me, I can't. You'd think I would write it down by now, but I have not. So, just a redneck fucking dude. But they're in here too, and they're basically just bodies to eventually get killed. I'll take it. It is what it is. Let's get into the ending, shall we? So, you know, Ash has already battled his inner demons, and then once these people arrive, they all get picked off and possessed and yada yada yada. And we are down to Annie, who is the daughter of the guy who was doing the research on the Book of the Dead, the guy on the tape and all that shit. And then obviously our hero, Ash. And by the time the end of the film rolls around, they are tasked with a very Herculean challenge. You know, they've dealt with, you know, the Henrietta Deadite and the whole, I will say this, again, comedic aspects are good. When he chops her fucking head off and he steps on her neck and she's like, I'll swallow your soul, I'll swallow you. And he goes, swallow this. Fucking exploding head. Like, how can you not love that shit? That's the Ash Williams I love. Bruce Campbell's phenomenal in this. And yeah, little, like, one-liners and cool little shit like that. It's all good with me, man. I like shit like that. But, you know, say it once, say it a million times. I just think they overdid it a little bit. Just my opinion. But yeah, anyways, man. So they've dealt with the Henrietta Deadite, and they've dealt with, you know, everything else. But now, as she reads from the lost pages of the Necronomicon, Book of the Dead, whatever you want to call it, she inadvertently, because she only reads part of it, I can't remember what incapacitated her. Oh yeah, the hand fucking stabs her with the Kandarian dagger, so that fucking little fucker's still running around causing shit. But yeah, he stabs her in the back so she doesn't get to read all of it, and she unleashes this, like, monstrosity. Like, I guess it's supposed to be a hybrid of the trees, and, you know, it's just this big, gross motherfucker, just this big ass fucking Kandarian tree demon that busts its face through the fucking cabin and is about to swallow Ash whole, man. And he's lucky enough that he has a prosthetic chainsaw, and so he fucking rams that shit right into the eye, and she is able to read the rest of the pages, which then vanquishes the fucking monstrosity tree demon thing, which is great scene, great stuff. That whole monster design was fucking phenomenal. That whole ending sequence was fucking phenomenal. Really good stuff there. And it's stuff like that which reminds me why I do like this movie. I don't love it. I like it. I'll say that. I like it. And it's because of, giant fucking tree demons and Ash Williams with a fucking chainsaw in his hand. But anyways, so she does eventually die from getting stabbed by the Kandarian dagger, and I can't remember if he does take out the hand or not. I don't think he does, because I think in Ash vs. Evil Dead he even has it, which, by the way, I won't be reviewing that show, unfortunately. If you want to know, I like it. I like the show a lot. It's really good. I wish it didn't get canceled. So... So I don't think we ever get a closure with the hand, but she does die, and, he's like, good job, kid. And then, the portal opens back up. The portal she opens by reading the pages does eventually come right back, and it sucks Ash Williams back into the past. And there was foreshadowing in the movie that one would come from this, like, back in 16 fucking whatever, 80, I don't fucking know. But there was foreshadowing that, a man would come from the sky and would deliver us from the ultimate evil or whatever. And lo and behold, that ends up being Ash, which we will get in Army of Darkness later. But yeah, man, he gets sucked up by this portal and gets transported all the way back in time. And it's just all these knights, and it's like they're fucking, they all see him pour from the sky, and they're going to execute him because they think he's one of the ultimate evil. But he's not, and one of these, like, flying deadites, which I thought was really cool looking, is flying down, attacking these knights, and Ash does take out his, what would later be called a boomstick, and just blows this fucker's head apart. Great stuff. So they all realize, hail the one who comes from the sky, and, the prophecy is fulfilled. And it is a great moment, too, where Ash is stuck in this completely different part of time. And these people are, hail, hail, hail. And you just see him on top of this mound, just, no. He's like, what the fuck? It's like, not only are all my friends dead and the love of my life is dead, and I just watched all these other people get killed right after that, and my fucking hand's gone, and now I'm in this fucking completely different part of time, and I'm just a god to these people now. Like, this is a little overwhelming. Yeah, man. Cool ending, very goofy, but fitting for this movie. Like I said, I'm not gonna say I hate this movie or anything like that. It's a mixed bag for me, though. I think there's some great stuff about it. I just feel like we could have leaned back on the comedic aspects a little bit. I could see it maybe growing on me, but overall, it just wasn't my thing, man. So I think I'm more of an original Evil Dead guy. Just my opinion. I do like this movie, though, and I'm looking forward to reviewing Army of Darkness later on because, that does carry on the comedic aspects quite a bit, and I haven't seen that one in a very long time. I'm curious to see what I think, but we'll get into that another time. And that'll do it for the review portion of Evil Dead 2. But you know what we gotta do now, baby? We gotta get into the blood, the guts, and the gory bits. We gotta get into my kill of the film. Stick around. Much like the rest of this movie, the blood and the guts for Evil Dead 2 is a mixed bag. And I say that because, in the original Evil Dead, the blood is plentiful, and it is fucking disgusting. And in this one, yeah, we get some really, really good kills. The Henrietta Deadite having a fucking fantastic kill with the, just getting her limbs all chopped off and finally her head fucking blown apart by a shotgun. Great shit. Great shit all around. And for every one of those, we get the other Deadite, the blonde fucking guy. I don't know his name. But, when Ash chops him to bits with an axe, you're like, okay, cool, we're going to get some shit here. And then Like, it's like green blood. I'm like, what the? Why is it fucking green? Like, what the? And I get it. They were trying to avoid, because I think the original Evil Dead got like an X rating or something fucking insane, and they couldn't distribute it as much. So I understand, but it's like, man, like that kind of blows. And you know, as awesome as the scene is where Ash does end up having to cut his hand off, get a brutal stab right through the hand, pinning it to the fucking ground. But then you don't see him like chop his fucking hand off. And in the original, this lady's like fucking chewing her arm apart. And it's like, man, I feel like we downgraded on the gore a little bit. But not to take away from that scene, because it is fucking iconic. And who's laughing now? And the blood splattering all over his face. They did get away with what they could with that scene. I just would have liked a little bit more impact. Just me and my sick self. But yeah, man. I think all the stuff with Linda in the beginning was cool, with, you know, him inevitably putting her fucking head into this vice and like having the saw right through her fucking head. I thought that was awesome. Again, it's a little off screen. You only get it in a shadow form, but I still think it's cool. And there's some other solid stuff as far as gore is concerned in the movie and just violence in general. But to me, easily kill of the film is going to go to that redneck fucking guy getting drugged into the cellar halfway by the Henrietta Deadite. And she ends up, like, his upper half gets drugged under into the cellar and his legs are sticking out. And just this unrealistically fucking crazy amount of blood just sprays out of the cellar, and then later on you get the reveal of he is literally just a skeleton with some remnants of the shirt he was wearing. It's like just this insane geyser of blood. Fucking awesome, and that's gonna be my kill of the film for Evil Dead 2. And that'll do it, guys. Again, mixed bag of a movie, but overall, I recommend it. I think it's required viewing for a horror fan. I think, you know, people, it's mixed feelings, man. You'll get some people who feel one way, some people who feel the other. And that's the beauty of it, man. I'm just one guy. If you love this movie, if it's your favorite fucking horror movie of all time, good on you, dude. It's just not mine. I do dig it, though. But yeah, man, that'll do it, as I said, for Evil Dead 2. I am rambling quite a bit. But yeah, man, next time on Days of Darkness, we are going to be getting into, not a review, but we're going to wind it on back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, and we are going to be looking at the Many Faces of Leatherface. I did a Many Faces of Jason Voorhees for Friday the 13th, and that was met with a good amount of success, so I figured, hey, let's run it back. Let's revisit a series we just reviewed, and we'll just talk about the different looks and the different costumes for our boy Jedediah Sawyer, or Thomas Hewitt, or fucking Bubba, or whatever you want to fucking call him. I'll call him Leatherface, and we're going to be doing that next time on Days of Darkness. But until then, guys, as always, whether you like my take on Evil Dead 2 or not, thank you for coming by the channel, always supporting me, supporting the dream. Cannot thank you guys enough. Be safe out there. Have a safe 4th of July. And yeah, guys, without further ado, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and for the love of all things gory, keep watching horror.